Yeah. So we find two shlokas in the starting chapters of Mahabharata. Please switch on your camera, whoever is in a good location, because it is very easy for a instructor to see people and talk. Okay. So in the beginning chapters of Mahabharata, we find two shlokas which is talking about the entire personality of those groups. So the entire Mahabharata is about two groups. We all agree upon that. So those two groups are called as Kauravas and Pandavas. So those two groups are called as Kauravas and Pandavas. In my previous session, I have talked extensively about the personality of Kauravas, because most of the complexes what Nagaraj ji was dealing with come from this group. And I shall also read out the shloka, and you will understand why learning Sanskrit or exposed to Sanskrit is very much helpful for you. Okay. Yudhishthiro dharmamayo. Okay, I should go to the previous one. This is about Yudhishthira. 1 minute. Yeah. Duryodhano manyumayo mahadrumaha skandha karna shakunistasya shakhaha dushasana pushpaphale samruddhe moolam raja dhritarashtro amanishi is the shloka. So they are actually picturizing Duryodhana in the form of this tree. Picturizing Duryodhana, the entire character of Duryodhana, in the form of a tree. And so the very important part in any tree will be the root. If the root is not healthy, the tree will not grow. So root is very, very essential for the growth of the tree. So what is the root to the tree called Duryodhana? The tree is very healthy right now. So the root is called as Dhritarashtra. So the Dhritarashtra with inferiority complex. You know what is Dhritarashtra. In the videos, Nagaraj ji explained that very well. Dhritarashtra is a very low esteem because of his physical, disability, and also mental disability. He could not appreciate his brother Pandu or his sons because he wanted to rule the entire country, but he couldn't do that because of his inability. So he built up that complex, and that complex is the breeding ground for the personality of Duryodhana. Duryodhana complexes breeding ground is Dhritarashtra's complex. Okay, so that is the Moola, that is the root. They are talking about the root. Raja Dhritarashtra. And they were also talking about one adjective to Dhritarashtra, which is Amanishi. Amanishi is a person who don't have wisdom. See, Dhritarashtra and Pandu Maharaja both are trained in the same way. Bhishmacharya was their grandfather, and he gave all the best to their children. So both of them are trained same, but Pandu was more wise than Dhritarashtra because of many things. So that is why here they are using the word Amanishi. He might be trained. Somebody might be very trained. He might be an IAS officer or an IPS officer, but he might have this personality of Dhritarashtra. He cannot see people grow. He cannot see people who are very happy. Something like that. So Amanishi, the word Amanishi is related to being unwise, not having the wisdom. And Dushasana Pushpapale Samruddhe. Pushpa and Phala, flowers and fruits, are like our Dushasana. you know that there are 98 brothers and one sister to Duryodhana. So Gandhari is the mother of Duryodhana, and Gandhari had these many children, 100 children. And what is the what you say, the importance of flowers and fruits? The importance of flowers and fruits is that you can identify that from a far place. For example, even though I don't know how is an apple tree, but I can know how is an apple. So it is the output. It is the well-reached output of anything that is in the form of flower and fruit. So the output of this tree, which is called Duryodhana, is Dushasana. You know how is Dushasana? While Panchali, you know who is Panchali?
Draupadi?
Draupadi. So you know how Dushasana ill-treated Draupadi. Why? Because he had all the strength given by Duryodhana. So the tree gives you this strength. So what is the difference between an orange and an apple? If you ask me, the difference is in its birth itself. So the difference is in its cause itself. So an apple is coming from an apple tree and an orange is coming from an orange tree. So both are different. Both are having different origins. So because of its origin, it is different. So here the origin of Dushasana, the wrong personality or the misdoings of Dushasana is only because of Duryodhana. If there is no Duryodhana, there is no Dushasana at all. If there is no, what you say, support of Duryodhana, there will be no Dushasana. Okay, that is one thing. And another thing. Where will we get flowers and fruits? We find flowers and fruits to the branches. So branches are those locations which hold the most important or well-used entities which are coming out of that. And those branches are Shakuni or the, what you say, cunning mind. It's not only Shakuni. In Mahabharata, it is Shakuni. But if you see Duryodhana as a character, the cunning mind what Duryodhana had is actually holding all these fellows who are misbehaving. Okay, that cunning mind is like the Shakha. And everything, if there is no trunk, the trunk, if you see that if the trunk is missed, there will be no Shakha, there is no branch. If there are no branches, there are no fruits and flowers. And if there are no fruits and flowers and branches, it's actually not called a tree. Even though it might have a root, it might take a lot of time to again build everything. Okay, only having Dhritarashtra complex will not lead to Duryodhana, the character of Duryodhana. So Dhritarashtra complex is the root of this personality, but there are other important elements also which is giving him a recognition. Okay, so here one more important thing is Skandha Karnaha. Skandha is trunk. So who is the trunk of this personality called Duryodhana? The trunk is that most important thing which holds everything else. Okay, just now we were talking, if there is no trunk, there is no tree at all. If there is no Karna, there is no Duryodhana. Tree is Duryodhana right now. If there is no trunk, there is no tree. If there is no tree, there are no phala and pushpa, flowers and fruits. If there is no Karna and Duryodhana, Shakuni's cunning mind is of no use. There might be many more cunning people or more cunning ideas, but it will only be useful when there is somebody called Duryodhana. If there is no Duryodhana, Shakuni's cunning nature will not be used ever. Are you getting me? So to build a personality, you need all these different things. And Duryodhana is compared with Mahadrumaha, very big tree. And the key ingredient in this tree is Manyumayaha. Manyu is anger, jealousy. Jealousy and anger are those key aspects in this tree called Duryodhana. Now, according to this analyzation, you can understand who stands where. What is the place of Dhritarashtra in the entire epic called Mahabharata? What is the place of Dushasana and his brothers and other characters? What is the place of Karna? What is the place of Shakuni? And who is Duryodhana? You will understand by knowing one shloka. So this is actually telling us about the Kauravas mainly. Okay. Any doubt here? Do you want to ask anything? No, you have no doubt here?
Sir?
Yeah.
Can you explain the Dushyasan part?
I can't hear you, Anisha.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you please explain the Dushyasan part again?
Dushasana part. See, the Dushasana part is somebody in our movies, we see people who roam around, influential people. Actually, these people who are culprits than the original influential people. If you take any riot or any misbehavior in public in all those places, the actual culprit might not directly involve in the action. Are you understanding me? The actual culprit or the person who wants to do that will not directly involve in the action. But those people who don't have very great personality, who don't relate to themselves, they don't know who they are. They just blindly follow. They always follow. They are called followers. And these Dushasana and co are our followers. And these followers impact more. Their impact is more. If you see the entire Mahabharata, even though Shakuni and the Dushta Chatushtaya, there are Dushta Chatushtaya in Mahabharata, they plan, but they are not the people who actually execute. There are other people who help them to execute their plan. And these people who are followers and helpers don't have a particular personality. They don't have their own stand. They always follow. And these Dushasana and co are like that. Understood, Anisha? Thank you. And see, why Dhritarashtra didn't become this tree? Why? Do you know who wrote Mahabharata?
Vyasa?
Vyasa, yes. So Vyasa Bhagavan wrote Mahabharata. And why did he not portray Dhritarashtra as Duryodhana? Why Dhritarashtra got the root part and not the trunk part or the branches? We have to analyze that way also. Because Dhritarashtra didn't have that ability to actually perform. He's blind. He didn't have that confidence in himself that I can ruin off Pandavas. He was not having that confidence. These are the two important things. That is why he became the ground for Duryodhana. And he related himself to Duryodhana more. Whenever Duryodhana is succeeding, he was very happy. Even though he was not exhibiting his happiness in open, but he was very, very happy. Even when Draupadi was ill-treated in the Sabha, Kuru Sabha, he never came in between Dushasana and Draupadi or Duryodhana and Draupadi. He never stopped Duryodhana. Okay. And one another key factor why Dhritarashtra didn't become Duryodhana is Dhritarashtra had some positivity also in his life. He has positivity in the form of his wife. He has some positivity in the form of Vidura, his brother. He has positivity in the form of Sanjaya, his minister. He has some positivity in the form of Bhishma, his grandfather. So these all energy actually stopped him to become another Duryodhana. He had some disabilities. In the same time, he had some positivities which stopped him to become Duryodhana. But for Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra didn't let Vidura, Sanjaya, Bhishma to affect Duryodhana. He stopped them because he was in that authority to do anything. He stopped their effect on Duryodhana. And he gave full freedom for his character to bloom in Duryodhana. We see people like this also. Where some parents wanted to achieve something in their life, they didn't achieve that in their lifetime, and they get some son or daughter, even though these son and daughter might have an influence of other family persons, but these parents will stop their influence on their son or daughter. Why? They want to bloom their personality in their children. They don't want any other affluence or influence on them. So this is only a small part where we are drawing the similarity. Okay, all those parents are not wrong or right. I'm not judging that. I'm just giving you a small example how people stop the influence of the outer world. Okay, like there is a very famous character called Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti. If you are very interested, you can read about him. He was taken by Annie Besant, the founder of Theosophical Society. That is a very great institution which was founded in the southern part of India, which was founded by Annie Besant. And Jiddu Krishnamurti was such person who was bred in such an environment where the outer peripheral influence of the world or the changes in the world will not affect Jiddu Krishnamurti. He was protected in such a way till he was given all the training he needed to understand this world. If you go through his life history, you will understand that. And it actually resulted in the positive way for Jiddu Krishnamurti. And it resulted in the negative way for Dhritarashtra. Again, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, which means that according to the rule, the subjects of the rule are there. So there, Annie Besant was actually nurturing Jiddu Krishnamurti. So that is why you got a very great philosopher to this world. And here Dhritarashtra was nurturing with his ill mind and complex mind. So we got Duryodhana. So that is the difference there. Okay, am I clear here? Any more doubts? Can I move on? Or else we can take one another session for the Pandu Maharaja, the Dharmaraja's characterization. What do you say? It is already 1:30, 1:25. Yeah. Okay, so I will take the decision and we'll meet again sometime in this coming week on the Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is our Dharmaraja. So Dharmaraja's characterization and what are the aspects which we have to see and why Dharmaraja was that different. All those things we'll go through. And we can end this session here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.